Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host Evan Teague. With me, like always, the man who thankfully hasn't been delayed yet, Noah Bailey.
Not yet.
Not yet.
It's coming, don't
We're
worry.
getting there. There's still time.
Everything else is getting shut down.
Yeah.
You might as well.
And speaking of that, we'll be opening today's podcast with a new little game called Oof or Meh. And in this game, I will be listing off every single movie that was announced to be delayed this past week. And we will be determining if it's a big oof or a meh. Essentially, oof, like, I wish that was coming out when it was supposed to be, or meh, don't really care about the movie. So, starting off, Wonder Woman 1984 has been delayed from June to August 14th.
I mean, like, oof, because I like the movie, but like that's not a huge delay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what, a month and a half, not like super huge, 2 months maybe. Like,
Yeah,
because and like it's still coming out in the summer, so like it's not super crazy.
Yeah, annoying, but I mean, we're still getting it this year, unlike a lot of other movies that have already been announced. So,
Yeah,
like,
well, like it's still coming. That's what's important. Or like some movies that are like still like in the process of determining when it's gonna come out. And I'm like, oh my god, like, but no, I mean this like lip oof, but little oof,
yeah, the smallest oof possible.
the
Uh,
smallest of oofs.
Peter Rabbit 2 moved from from September to January 15th.
Honestly, I didn't even know this was coming out. So like, man, I don't even.
I know,
I don't even
like,
what Peter Rabbit. What is
yeah,
that?
James Corden is Peter Rabbit, and Daisy Ridley is like is like that movie's James Marston, where she's just kind of there to be the human character, to be against the the CGI weird animal.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, but yeah, no, not a huge loss in my
No.
opinion.
Ghostbusters Afterlife moved from October to March 5th.
Nah, I mean, I'm not. I am personally never been huge on Ghostbusters in general, especially after the last one. So like,
Which, by the way, it's
I don't again,
bad.
I don't.
It's not a bad movie because it's a
It's
women like cats.
not.
It is just a bad movie, objectively bad.
Yeah, I'm
But
not.
that's
I'm not
right.
like I. No, like I'm all for like and all that stuff, but like if it's a bad movie, it's a bad movie.
Yeah,
That doesn't
you
have
can't do
anything to
anything
do.
about it.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's anything, but like. But yeah, I've never been huge on Ghost, but even the originals, I've never really been into
Yeah.
Bill Murray and all that. So like, but like, no, not huge, not
Yeah.
really. I don't. I probably wasn't gonna see that anyway. So
Nah, I mean, I the principle of a Ghostbusters movie coming out in October being moved to March, I think, is a big oof because
yeah,
that just makes so much sense for a Ghostbusters movie
right.
to be in October, but it just
Yeah.
wasn't for some reason. Although
Maybe I
it's
mean,
weird that movies that were going to come out in October are being delayed. I guess like post production hasn't still needs to be done, and they can't work on it right
yeah,
now.
probably or that or maybe this kind of there. Maybe they're moving it back to like keep space between other things that are moving back too.
I guess.
Kind of like so you
Yeah.
don't have everything coming back as soon. Like if everything came out as soon as quarantine was over, everything would kind of dip in production. So just to kind of have those buffer spaces, just to like
Mm,
make sure profits are marginalized. But
yeah.
yeah, I could see that. But yeah, that's weird to like like because again, I don't know if that's like a tradition that Ghostbuster movies come back in October, but obviously it makes sense due to
I
like
think
Halloween
I
and all that.
think the 2016 reboot came out in like July, or it was either like July or September or something that wasn't October for some
Yeah,
reason.
which I can see July because it seemed like one of those summer movies because more people are going, so it's like, hey, more people are at the movies, so this might
Yeah.
get more
I
traffic. But
think the original Ghostbusters might have been a summer release. Funnily enough, the original
probably,
Ghostbusters actually came out the same day as the original Gremlins movie. like the same day.
Ah.
Yeah, and neither of them were in October.
Wasn't
Either both
Gremlins
of them.
also kind of Halloween-y-ish?
Yeah,
Kind
it's a
of?
Halloween movie that takes place on Christmas.
Right. I did not
Yeah,
know.
weird.
Just like, oh, side note, is Gremlins a Christmas movie? Leave your answers in the comments. Yes or no?
I put it in the same boat as Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a Thanksgiving movie. It's right there in the
Ah,
middle.
no, no, no.
I kid.
Don't do that. Leave Thanksgiving alone.
I mean, does Thanksgiving have any other movies to call its own? No.
I mean, no, but like,
It's out of the Charlie Brown
yeah, I guess
Thanksgiving
you got.
special.
That's what I was saying. I was like, other than like Charlie Brown, that counts. But no, it's just, I don't know. Movies do randomly come out on Thanksgiving sometimes, though,
Yeah, true.
for some whatever reason. But like, yeah, I get, yeah, because it's like it's like a scary-ish movie on Christmas. Yeah. But yeah, but Nightmare Before Christmas is definitely a Halloween movie, not a
Yeah,
Christmas movie,
I
in
know.
my opinion.
it 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 could definitely be viewed in on either, but I'd say it's more so a Halloween movie.
Yeah, same.
The vibes are just more Halloweeny.
Eh.
Um, so it's still apparently Venom 2 is still gonna be in October, even though we haven't had a trailer for it yet. Morbius is being delayed from I think September or August. I didn't write that one down to March 19th.
So Morbius was supposed to come out in like September and then Venom was coming out in the next month. Is that how it's
Something
supposed to
it's
go?
either August or September.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But like pretty close. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, but Morbius overall,
No.
no, like I don't, I don't know, man. Like it's more like just the idea. Like I already did. Like I like Venom as a character, but I don't like the idea of Venom's movie. So
Mm.
like you know, I'm not gonna like
Yeah.
Morbius's idea. Like it's worse,
Uh,
even less relevant character.
yeah.
Like
It's just weird how apparently Venom is still scheduled to come out this year. Yeah, we haven't had a trailer for it. Yeah, we've had I
mm,
think at least 2 teasers for Morbius, and that got delayed. I don't know. That's very weird to me, especially since Morbius
yeah,
is
we
being delayed to after Ghostbusters, which was originally going to come out before. Morbius was originally going to come out a month or two before Ghostbusters, but now they're Ghostbusters is coming first.
right
That's just
switch.
yeah, that's weird.
I don't know, and like. Yeah, like if there was any like way that like Morbius was gonna foreshadow anything in Venom 2, that's totally like
Yeah,
mixed up now unless they move Venom back and all this stuff. Which I mean, I feel like they'd be kind of connected because it's the same
they'll
universe
at least be
supposedly.
connected, but I have a feeling, if anything, the after credit scene of Venom will have Morbius in it, not the other way around.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess so. She wouldn't really have an well, unless Venom would make an appearance. I don't know. I can see like Venom making an appearance in like a Morbius. I don't know. Now that's mixed up. They
Yeah,
might
whichever,
change
whatever, like
about
whatever,
it.
they'll have time to fix it, assuming people get back to work in like, you know, summer ish. They'll have time to fix it
Yeah,
with Venom if they need to. But I think either way, like no matter which way you tease it, it should be fine either way they release. But yeah, I don't know. I mean that whole weird universe already has this major issue, so this is just another cherry on top of that. um, Next, the Tom Holland starred Uncharted movie, which was supposed to come out sometime this year, with no given date. Sometime this year has been delayed to December 8th, 2021.
Wait, Uncharted like the game?
Yeah, yeah. Tom Holland's
Oh,
playing a young Nathan Drake.
wait, really?
Yeah,
I did not know about that. I shouldn't. I feel like I should have known about that. Now, given like the rep of video game movies, I feel like this is going to be amazing. But at the same time,
Sonic
who
was actually
knows?
kind of good.
Right. I haven't seen Sonic. I should
It
actually
was
check that. I heard
it
it
was
was
kind of
pretty
good.
cool. I heard there was like a Quicksilver scene, kind of like from the
Yeah, there's
I
every
forgot which
single movie
X-Men movie.
that has a fast character
Speedster.
that has a scene like
Yeah,
that now.
basically. Which I mean, had to be done. But no, like I mean, that could be interesting. I don't know too much about Uncharted, but I know it's kind of like, like archaeology stuff like that.
It's
or something
basically
like that.
it's
Tomb
essentially you're
Raider.
playing like yeah, it's essentially Indiana Jones but a different person.
Dope. Right, dope.
Yeah. Like
But
this
yeah,
like my biggest problem with Naughty Dog games nowadays as it is the fact that like they're already basically movies. Like I know that's not a super fair comparison, but like the gameplay is fine. It's very fine tuned, but like you play those games for the story. You play the game for the cutscenes in between the actual gameplay. But like, so making a movie out of that, and don't not that I don't see the point. It's just I'd rather at least play the game to get a longer experience that actually physically control. But because there's also a Last of Us either movie or show coming to HBO that's again just gonna be a game that's already basically you're playing a movie. But I don't know.
hmm. And I mean, sometimes I think like the more movie aspect is interesting for some games, but not as much for others. I guess it just
Hmm.
kind of depends on what you're in for. But honestly, not a huge loss for me, just because I feel like this kind of was coming out of nowhere anyway. So I get more time to like, because I haven't heard anything about that. So
This
like,
movie's been in production since I think it was like 2016 or 17.
seriously,
It's been
dude?
in production for a while. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they should. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, give it some time, and also give it like some, um, not production, but marketing. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
can't believe I forgot about marketing.
Come on.
What's that word? Voting stuff? No, 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 that's not it. Yeah, you might know what it is.
Maybe. Yeah, might.
Possibly.
Might be a thing I
But
know a
yeah,
little bit
no,
about.
2 or 3 things. But no, it's like, yeah, like they should market it because I again, maybe I'm just not listening, but like
Hmm.
I don't know, I haven't heard much marketing about it at all. So like,
Literally, the only things I've heard about it is Tom Holland's gonna play a young Nathan Drake, which I'm actually pretty cool with because that will differentiate it from the story of the games. Because Nathan Drake is usually in his 30s, and they probably had flashbacks to him being younger, but that's not a significant part of it. So it's telling a brand new story that'll more or less be a prequel to the games. Also, the only other thing I've heard about it is every time it gets delayed.
yeah.
It's been delayed
So
multiple
maybe,
times, so like that's the only time I ever hear about it is when production is screwed up. I think
yeah,
it's
so
been
maybe
through
they
like
should
3 or 4 different directors too, which is one of those weird.
already.
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
That's not a good sign. Well, but yeah, not a big deal that gets delayed just because, maybe time is needed for that.
I just feel bad for it getting delayed over a year because it was gonna be because sometime this year, and now it's coming out December 8th of next year.
Yeah. So a full year, if not more. But
Mm.
at the same time, maybe it's needed because I mean, by the time you go through your third director, I mean, where are we on that Flash movie that was
Apparently, it's
supposedly?
coming out next year, but I don't believe it.
Apparently, like, do we have a direct? Like, we that went through like what, three
I
directors
think
and
they're on
like
their fourth. Yeah.
three? Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
we don't even know
It was
where
come out in
that's even
2018, and then
happening.
it just kind of kept being pushed back and back and back, but whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
2021's too soon.
Uh, uh, A Quiet Place Part 2, which was supposed to come out this March, is being pushed back to next year.
Ooh, that far?
Yeah. That's an oof.
Dang.
That's a big
Okay.
oof.
That's a no. Yeah, I didn't realize it was that far. Yeah, because that was coming out like, yeah, that would have already been out by now, right?
John Krasinski was on Stephen Colbert the week before it was supposed to come out, promoting it and being like, A Quiet Place Part 2 comes out next
Oh,
Friday, and it just didn't come out.
dude, coronavirus. Oh,
Yeah.
that sucked.
Yeah.
That stink because everyone really liked The Quiet Place. So
Yeah.
like, I know everyone's hyped for the second one, and
I don't
like
I
the
don't do scary,
whole
but I can respect that movie
I
for.
don't. Yeah, no, that's the thing. I don't either. Like, I haven't seen it because I'm a weenie. But if I was, I own it. It's fine.
Mm.
But no, if I wasn't, I would probably love that movie.
Oh
Everyone
yeah.
I talk to, I have a friend who does like speech pathology, so she's all into like
Ooh,
sign language, all of the stuff. So she was like, it's amazing. She was
nice.
like telling me it's the best movie she's ever seen.
Yeah.
But
And
like,
the daughter of that is like actually deaf, so that just like in real life,
that's
it's
so
just
cool. That's
that's
so
so good.
cool.
I want more movies to do
That
stuff
is
like that. She's such a good
right.
actor because that's just how she lives.
Yeah, that's just her life. She doesn't even have to act. She's just doing her. Like it's so crazy. But like, yeah, that's like a whole year when the movie was done, ready to come out, and why so much? Because like my thing is like, I understand if you have to like touch up some things or whatever, you gotta push
Hmm.
it back. But like, like this movie was done. This movie was coming out in a week.
Yeah.
Why do you have to push it back so far? That's so weird. Maybe like
Actually,
a certain
sorry, my
day.
we're on to the list of movies that has been pushed back indefinitely. So it might be next year, might be later this year, but still, it's
But
already done. Like it was
oh
gonna come out, but
yeah,
it's at least a couple of months away.
exactly. Like, literally was like ready to go on the shelf and like
Mhm.
gone. Like, come on,
Yeah,
that sucks.
yeah. Um, Top Gun Maverick also being
Oh
pushed back indefinitely.
yeah,
Haven't
I
seen the
saw.
first one.
Okay, yeah, no,
Haven't seen the
I
first one.
haven't either. I saw a lot of like promotion, but like every time I went to the movie theater, they were playing the
Yeah.
trailer of Top Gun. Tom Cruise over
Hmm.
there, about to do his thing. I thought it was a Mission Impossible movie till it said
Yeah.
Maverick. It's
Yeah.
fine. I was like, oh wow, they're making enough. They're pulling these things out fast. I'm like, oh, never mind. Like,
Yeah.
where's the music? Oh,
So
like,
yeah, for me, that one's a meh,
yeah.
but like I can understand people getting excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not personally too big into it, but yeah, but yeah, man, that sucks. Though. Everything's
Yeah.
being pushed back. Hmm.
Um, the last of the movies, the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, has been pushed back indefinitely.
Wasn't that coming on Nickelodeon,
No, it
or
was
was
a
that they're
theatrical
making like a
release.
legit like? Wait, really?
Yeah, a CG movie
Oh,
that still keeps the general, feel of the show with Keanu Reeves as a bellow. It's like a tumbleweed for some reason.
oh yeah. No, I forgot about. Yeah. No, I remember that now. That does kind of suck.
Yeah,
I was thinking that was gonna be interesting. Yeah, I totally
it at
forgot about.
least looked more interesting than the Sponge Out of Water, which was
Oh
bad.
yeah.
Sponge Out of Water is bad.
I
um,
remember watching part of that and then got bored and did something else.
yeah, they got Antonio Banderas to be the main pirate villain, and he's just weird and boring and bad. Like his entire personality is he like kind of like whispers and just is like stares at the camera is like super serious and like that could work maybe, but this is SpongeBob. Like we need like
Right?
Patchy the pirate is like the is like the sample pirate for this universe, and
Mhm.
like that's even like the pirates from the beginning of the SpongeBob movie from 2004. Like those pirates were
Yeah,
hilarious.
that's
So
such a good movie.
you can't just like mumble everything and think that's funny. I don't know.
Mhm.
And I love Antonio Banderas, and it should have worked, but it just like he can be a super hammy actor, and he just was the opposite of that.
Didn't
It
do
was
it. Yeah.
yeah yeah. Anything with kind of Reeves is a big oof.
For real. Uh, what about? Don't weren't they doing John Wick 4? Wasn't
Yeah,
that?
John Wick 4 and Matrix 4 are both coming out next year at some point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully those stay
Mm,
okay.
yeah. Uh, a couple of games also got delayed. Um,
Really?
yeah.
Dang.
The Iron Man VR game got delayed,
Mm,
which, I mean, I don't have VR. I don't really plan to get VR anytime soon. And the game looked
I'm
fine.
not really.
It looked fine.
Yeah, I've never been big on VR. I'm kind of just like, there's some games I'd be interested. Like if they had like I don't know if they do it or not, but like Spider-Man VR would be
Mm,
interesting. But like, I'm not huge in VR myself. But yeah.
no. And like, there have been a couple of VR games that really worked, like Half Life Alex that recently came out. Like that apparently is like that is the way it's done, like the way it immerses you into the game. It just could not be done on the mouse and keyboard. But Iron Man the way it looks and like people who've done demos, they're like it you don't really feel like you're Iron Man, which I know is kind of a buzzword with every
Mhm.
superhero game, but like it just in
Yeah.
this scenario, you're literally like supposed to be in like you are Iron Man, like that's supposed to be the whole gimmick, and it just kind of didn't feel like it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of, yeah, it's kind of one of those things you either get it or you don't, because like if you
Mm-hmm.
don't, it kind of falls apart.
Yeah, and finally, The Last of Us Part Two been delayed to later this year.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, I've never played that game, but
Yeah, it's just hilarious how we live in a timeline where the only game that we are certain the release date is gonna like we are so certain the only game that will not be delayed, Final Fantasy VII Remake. That is
how did
hilarious.
this happen? How did
It's
that
coming out in like
happen?
a week or two. There's no chance of it being delayed.
How is
People,
it the
reviewers
one
already have the
game,
game.
a Square Enix game of all things, is the one not being pushed
Yeah.
back? That is very surprising.
Yeah. Which, like, yes, Last of Us Part Two for the people who actually who played the first one. I'm sure it's a big oof for them. But like, honestly, if this game does come out again, like in September or October, it might just kind of have a better vibe anyway. It's, also, it might not be the best idea to release a game about a global pandemic that killed, a pretty significant part of the population. Now,
That sounds familiar. That would be
yeah,
funny.
zombie apocalypse movies or games or whatever might not be the best. Might not be the
No,
best for
no.
for us right now.
We'll give it a little bit to calm down before we do that.
Yeah. um. So yeah, there was a lot of people who were legitimately mad at Sony for delaying that. I'm just like, chill out. You'll still get the game. There's still other stuff to play. Persona 5 Royal and Doom and uh, Resident Evil 3 Remake just came out. Like, you got stuff to play. Like, it's fine.
We'll
Final Fantasy
figure it
7's
out.
come out
It's
in a week or
fine.
two. Like, it will be fine.
We'll make it, guys.
Mhm. If there's something in that list that you don't like, I know every game isn't for everybody, but if one of those games isn't for you, yeah, The Last of Us is. That just feels a little off. Like Resident Evil 3, I feel should fit that niche, but I don't know.
Some people are very specific. Who knows?
Yeah. And also just to say it, the summer 2020 Olympics have been pushed back to next year as well, which is
Mm,
just
that yeah, apparently that's
interesting.
only happened once
I think
since
like
like World War
World
II
War,
or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, again, good reason. But like, dang,
It's
what's
the
the point?
only time a Mario and Sonic the Olympic Games game came out and it not be the same year as the as the Olympics actually. Like they could kind of re-release it to be Mario and Sonic the 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games, but like people have played the 2020 Olympic Games game for the for the Olympics that won't even be in 2020. It's just crazy.
Everything's messed up.
Yeah. So yeah, needless to say, this whole virus thing is messing up quite a lot of plans.
Pretty big deal. Pretty big deal.
Yeah. Um, let's see what Disney is up to now. So, even though all the other movies have been delayed, Black Widow was like one of the first movies to be announced to be delayed.
Mhm.
They There was a lot of rumors this past week about them possibly releasing that along with Mulan and New Mutants on Disney Plus or Hulu. They didn't address those movies directly, but they did specifically address Black Widow will for sure release in theaters, which I think is
Good.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that needs to be done. Because again, like I don't like that would be kind of messed up. That like Black Widow finally got her movie, and then oh, we're just gonna put this on Disney. Like, like if this was like, like her third movie or something, this is
Yeah,
an Iron Man 3 or something like that. I was like, okay, that's fine. But like
this is her time to
her
shine.
whining movie, yeah, like her time, she just died, like, what I'm saying?
Yeah,
In the last movie, so
and it
like,
wouldn't be her fault. It wouldn't be a malicious thing to do. It's just it might have if they had done it, people might understand, but other people would be would be reasonably upset. But it's not like the producers wanted this to happen. It's just what had to be
right.
done. But I'm very glad they are sticking to their guns and actually like it will come out at some point in theaters this year. Like I
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. And I'm sure I think Scarlett appreciates that too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know some of the cast was like, it sucks, but if it did come to Disney Plus, I'd be okay with it. But like I'm sure deep down they're like we'd rather, be
Yeah.
at the premiere, like, her move,
Yeah.
like this is her time to shine. We need this. Yeah.
Right. And like and how it would affect the box office too. Like there's a lot of concerns with that, because
Mm.
like a lot of people are like, oh, you guys aren't Avengers, you're not the real Avengers, but like it's
Okay.
got to be.
Yeah.
Put some respect on her name.
Mm. Speaking of Disney Plus, recently Disney Plus, you know how they have all those like avatars you can pick for your
Mhm.
profile. They added a lot of unique X-Men icons for profile
Uh-huh.
pics.
Uh-huh.
These aren't like, the Fox property X-Men. They aren't even the like any of the cartoon X-Men. They're not even like really based on anything from the comics. They're completely unique icons. What is happening?
Distinct. Yep. I don't know, but maybe I mean maybe they're dropping like a new show or something they'll be doing something like that. I'm hoping like something just to get the X-Men kind of back into relevance,
Yeah.
if you will. Like, and I'm not sure what that is just as yet. I don't know if that's gonna be like something. I'm feeling something animated just to get it off the ground, but I don't know because like like they could like if they could like set up a show or something like especially now
Mm.
like because again you can like when you're just drawing anime you can work from home, you don't have to
Yeah.
shoot or anything like that, so that's something they could probably be that could be shipped the main focus of Marvel Studios right now, so like
Mm.
who knows, but yeah, something like that would be amazing.
Yeah, and this easily could have been something that was being worked on in secret over at Fox, and then when Disney
Hmm.
bought them, they just kind of took over. It's just weird how we haven't heard anything about this until now, and then all of a sudden, all these other because there's like a little hint of it. This happens with everything because there's a little hint of something that might happen. All these different people are like, "Oh yeah, I heard this rumor a month ago that this might happen." No, I heard
Yeah.
this. Like, no, you didn't. Stop
It's
it.
like, no, 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 no.
You
It's
can't
like,
just say, "Oh
no,
yeah,
yeah.
now that the cat's out of the bag, I can." Like, no, you're making this up. Stop
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I was holding this in because I didn't want to spoil it. Like, oh, how dare you? Don't try to pull that. Like, since everyone else is bringing it up, yes, I was in on it. No, you were not a part of this.
It's
You were
especially
not.
funny when like the information is wrong. Like back when the Nintendo Switch was the Nintendo NX, and it like had they went the longest time not even talking about it. There was this one leak of what the controller might look like, and it was like a football shape with a screen, like the entire controller, and like just two joysticks, and that was it. And all these different people after that leak came out wasn't real. After that leak came out, all these other people were like, "Oh yeah, I saw that. Oh yeah, I have insight on a Nintendo, and that's real. Like yes, I
Mhm.
no." The next weeks, the guy who made that came out was like, "Yeah, I faked that. You're all idiots."
See, people are trying so hard to look credible, but it's like, no, man. Like, be honest. Like, that did not happen. You're trying to look.
You could have said nothing and been more right.
Yeah. Yes, you could have just been like, "This is news to me," and then it's like, "Oh, it's fake." Oh, well.
Okay.
Now you would be more credible if you didn't support
Mm.
this.
Now, granted, I'd really want these X-Men avatars to mean something. It's just
Yeah.
weird how up until the icons were released, just out of nowhere, they weren't even announced beforehand. They were just up on Disney Plus. No one had talked about this at all, and now they're just here, and people
Hmm.
are citing sources of a new X-Men show, and I'm like, I don't know. It's very interesting.
Still, yeah. Well, my thing is like, it's definitely not on accident that they have. Not like one, like multiple, like all the X-Men, all the main
Wolverine,
ones.
Professor X,
Like X,
Storm,
Rogue,
Rogue,
Storm, Cyclops, like all the main
Magneto,
staples.
like the main cast
Yeah,
of the '90s cartoons there.
yeah, like it's there, and it's like that's not like something's up. They're planning stuff.
Hmm.
So and like you said, like a very distinct. Like if it was like the '90s cartoon character, that's one thing. But these are very distinct designs. So that's what
Yeah.
I feel like there's something going
Hmm.
on.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, we'll see if that ends up actually being anything. Um, yeah. So next, it's been kind of hinted at that. I know we talked last week about Ahsoka being in Mandalorian season 2. It's kind of been hinted at that her being in the Mandalorian could potentially be a kind of backdoor pilot for an Ahsoka show.
Hmm.
Yeah. If you don't know what a backdoor pilot
Hmm.
is, essentially like an episode of a show that could potentially stand alone as the pilot of a series, and
Mhm.
like
Right.
if they like this character, if they like this scenario, they'll keep going with it in his own show.
Yeah, it's similar to how like the Flash started with Arrow and stuff like
Right.
that, kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't
But
always
yeah,
work
I
out, but
this
like yeah. Yeah.
But if it does work out, they'll do it. But if it doesn't, they'll just integrate the character into the show
Yeah.
that's already going, kind of thing. Like I like that idea, but like okay, my thing is like it depends on how they use her. Like I'm still kind of iffy about because like at this point, this is after episode 6, so Ahsoka at this point is like kind of
Old.
up there. Like oh, yeah,
Unless
kind
her
of
race
it.
just ages way slower than other. No, she aged
Maybe.
kind of. 20 years went by between episode between the Clone Wars and 20-ish years between that and Rebels. She
Yeah,
looked
she
about
aged
15,
pretty.
20 years older.
Yeah, like, definitely like not 15 or whatever
Yeah.
anymore. So like definitely older. So like I feel like she'd be a little older, kind of like not necessarily not as interesting, but not as butt kicky, I guess. But like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it depends on what her role is in the Mandalorian. I guess
Hmm.
that's my biggest thing. Because if she's like, I don't, because I have no idea what she's gonna be doing. Because like I don't even really know what she's doing after Rebels. Because her like death or whatever is ambiguous, and then she's just kind of like not really seen anymore. So we don't know
Yeah.
what she's up to.
So was the her versus Vader fight and Ghidorah close? Was that the last we saw of her in Rebels?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. So I
No,
always
I'm not
assumed
a
she just
huge.
died there, but maybe not.
Yeah, I guess
And
not because she's showing up. But
yeah. And if you really think about it, The Mandalorian takes place maybe 10 years after the Battle of Yavin, which is generally how they like
wow.
they like essentially
And,
the way modern timeline is everything before the Battle of Yavin, everything after the Battle of Yavin. So it's really
yeah.
only about 10 years because it's 5 years after episode 6, and that was about maybe not even 5. Maybe something like 3 years after because there's like a 1 year gap between episode 4 and 5, like a 2 year gap between, if even, between
Yeah, I guess
six.
so.
There's a
Probably
little
not
bit
even
of
that
time, but it's
long.
not like, it's not like,
Not a lot.
yeah, yeah,
So it
maybe
probably
10
hasn't been
years.
so not super longer,
Yeah.
but like long, but still a decent amount of time.
So like, if Ahsoka was 50, that wouldn't be too out of the question.
Yeah, like, that's
And
what I was
Rosario
thinking. Like she
Dawson is
wouldn't be
like
like,
40 something, so that's not too crazy.
that's not super bad. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I guess, but still, I have to see it, like what she ends up doing, and like again, like depending on her role in the Mandalorian, I'd be interested. But again, a show, I feel like this is more speculation. I don't know if she actually would get her own show as of yet. She is a beloved character, but I feel
Mm,
like her getting her own show in an era that we haven't really seen her in is kind of far fetched at this point.
yeah, it. And I've said this before. I just have a major problem with the fact that in episode 4 they made it very clear all the Jedi are dead. The Jedi are extinct. We wiped them out.
Did we though?
Luke is the only one left. Luke and Obi-Wan are the only ones left. And all of a
Like,
sudden, Ahsoka's just here 5 years, or maybe even 10 years
Yeah,
after
I
that was
mean,
said. It just, I don't know.
like technically she's not a Jedi, but I
But
mean,
she, not to bring up that movie, she even like, but she spoke during,
yeah, I
during that
know,
scene.
I know. It's continuity. I don't know, man. Like
I guess she
that
wasn't a
whole thing.
Jedi, but eventually, but like the Force, like
Maybe
brought
by the
favor
end of
on
the
her.
Mandalorian. Maybe
I
by
don't
the
know.
end of her time on the Mandalorian, she'll be a Jedi again. So then technically she's back in the fold. So the time that she's not a Jedi, it'll still count that there are no Jedi. But then, yeah, something
Yes.
super complicated and
Or
stupid like
maybe like
that.
she met Luke at some point and like through him realized that the Jedi aren't the worst anymore.
Maybe. Or maybe she was just like, "Oh, Mace Windu's dead. Okay, I'm back."
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
who knows? I mean,
I love him,
honestly,
but he was not the yeah. A lot of
no,
this is his fault. Let's
no.
be real.
Honestly, most of it kind of is. Yeah, I mean, like the other Jedi didn't help, but like
Well,
kind
Greg.
of spearheaded the
Well, Greg, you're on the
downfall.
council, but you're not a master. What? Why?
Why?
Why,
I'm
Mace?
like,
What are you doing?
why? What could you possibly like? And if you're worried about the chances, maybe you should check him out. Maybe there's something up with him. Oh, oh, Sith Lord. Like, come on, you never know. Like,
And my
uh,
favorite line from episode 2 is, they're talking about the attempted assassination on Padme, and Padme turns to them as like, it was Count Dooku. I know it was him. And then Mace Windu turns back to her and is like, Count Dooku used to be a Jedi. He is not capable of killing anybody. What is wrong with you? It's been 10 years since he was a Jedi. So
I,
things change.
there's this clip on Instagram. I might send it to you, but like there's this clip where it's literally like it's like that scene. It's like he's not capable of anybody, and it just like goes Clone Wars. It's just Count Dooku just murdering everybody. He just like stabs like
Uh,
force choke people.
mm,
And it's like
yeah.
it's so funny. It's like the same thing they do with like when Qui-Gon's like no like when Qui-Gon's telling a little Anakin about Jedi, and then Anakin's like, no one can kill a Jedi. And then Anakin kills like all the
Yeah, like all those Jedi dying in the Geonosis.
yeah. Order 66
Uh,
days get wrecked.
yeah, or like
Uh,
Mace Windu when Qui-Gon tells him that he is attacked by a Sith, he literally looks at him and is like, we were not told that the Sith are back. We'll need to meditate on this. Because the Sith didn't tell you, you don't believe him? What is wrong with you?
because you telling me like because you didn't get a calling card or like a notice in the mail that like oh there's no possible way. Why would I lie about that?
The guy had a
What
red
possible
saber. Like I'm not seeing things.
Red Saber had the Force almost killed me, but since you didn't feel it, there's no way it's true. Like, what are you
We were not told. Come on.
like, who were you expecting? Do you think they were gonna tell you? They were gonna be like, "Hey guys, guess what?" Like knock on the Jedi Temple, be like,
It's like
"Where's that?"
it's like the Revolutionary War where like the generals of each of the British and American army go to each other like, okay, so we'll fight at dawn. Got it. So they go back like, okay, well, we're fighting soon, and then they like all line up and it's like, okay, let's go. Now, what do you expect Darth
Yeah.
Maul to literally come to the temple and be like, hey, I'm back. I'm gonna fight you in like an hour. Just like
Like,
no.
okay, we'll be there. Yeah, like, no, there's a lot more of you than there are of me. So obviously, I'm not just going to sit out here in the open and be like, hey guys, what's up? And have, me versus 1,000 of you. Like, oh my gosh. And like, it's so, I don't know. Like, I don't, like, they're so, like, the whole time, they're just so prideful and obnoxious. They're like, yeah, well, we're the Jedi. We would have if the Sith was ahead of the yeah. When episode 2, and he's like, yeah, they told me there was the Sith were control of here. It's like if the Sith were in control, we'd know about it. Like I think that's
Dooku
why it's a
literally
secret, dummy. Like,
told you verbatim like what was going to happen, what is currently happening, and Obi-Wan then told Yoda is like, nah, we'll look into it, but it's not gonna be real. Like,
oh
he could
yeah,
be lying.
they're like
Like,
they're like
what?
even if there was like And like, yeah, obviously the Sith Lord could be lying because, like, evil. But like,
That's he
at the
literally
same
like,
time, on the off chance he's not. Plus, you don't even like the Chancellor, so like, don't you
yeah.
think there's a chance he could possibly be a
Uh,
like, like it's one thing if you're like, nah, he's my best friend. I've known him since birth. There's no, but like, he's a like if you think he's a douche, like, don't you
Obi-Wan,
think
oh,
there's
sorry,
a chance?
Yoda and Mace Windu constantly complain about how annoying the Chancellor is.
Yeah, it's like, man, the Chancellor's always getting in the way of Jedi business. Well, remember that time they the council said he could be a Sith Lord. Obi-Wan, we need real solutions to our problems. Bro.
Like the Siths were so confident that Count Dooku literally told him to his face, "You can stop this right now. I'm going to tell you what is up." And he knew for a
Yes.
fact the Jedi wouldn't believe him.
And he was right.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he was right. Like that's great. Like, can you imagine being that like prideful,
Mm.
stubborn? Like that's literally like, come on, that's some like, come on, man. Like really,
And I
he
wish the
told you. Yeah,
prequels
this is.
delved into this even more. Like the Clone Wars does a better job, but like there is so much that like there is so much there. There's so much the idea of the Jedi being so prideful that they were their own downfall was was just kind of hinted at in episode 1 and 2, and then it was like almost there in episode 3, but it just didn't quite get there.
Think that. Yeah, it wasn't like the overtime. It was like, oh, we were betrayed. I'm like, no, you ignored obvious
Yeah,
signs and were too stubborn to do anything
yeah,
about
and
it.
like
Like that's your own
because
fault.
because they didn't really go into that at all in episode 1 and 2, aside from a couple of things Mace Windu said, they had to like they had to like drill it home, just beat you over the head with the idea of that in episode 3, but then that wasn't even the reason why he turned evil.
No.
You could have had this like political intrigue of the Jedi being the good guys but also corrupt and just bad at their job throughout all 3 movies, and kind of Anakin growing up in this era realizing they suck and then turning against them, but nope. Save that all
Yeah,
for
because that
the
makes
first
way
half of the
more
second, the
sense.
last movie. Sure.
Right, and that makes so much sense. Because, like, honestly, if you were like, if you're working at a job and like all your superiors, like they're not only are they like dumb, but they like don't like they're bad at their job. You're doing an amazing job.
Mm,
Everyone they do, they're constantly being like, "Oh, you're not doing things the
mm,
right way." I'm like, you say that, but I'm like the best Jedi out here. I'm over here killing
mm.
Sith Lords, and you guys are giving me ridicules and giving me
Or
crap for
like,
stuff.
let's say you work at Bojangles. Because I used to work at Bojangles. Okay.
Here we go.
you you're doing your job, you're doing great, and then like you turn to your manager and is like, "Oh, we're out of fries," and she goes to you and says, "We ordered fries yesterday. We couldn't possibly be out of fries." Like, but that was yesterday.
You're like,
We sold a
I
lot of
hear you.
fries.
I get what you're saying, but like, no, we are. And like
We
the fact
are.
that they didn't believe him out of just like based on nothing, didn't believe.
Yeah.
It's not like he had a history of being like a liar or anything. Like, how like Mace Windu talks to like Anakin near the end, like the middle of his thing. He's like, "What you say is true. You've gained my trust." I'm like, when did I lose your trust? Like,
Yeah.
you never trusted after all the stuff I've done for
You're
you.
the one
Like,
who spent your entire life searching for the chosen one. He's right here. You believed it with no evidence, and you all of a sudden you're trying to say you don't trust him. Like,
right? And it's like, even if I wasn't the chosen one, which I clearly am because
yeah.
I am miles above everyone else with less training,
Mm,
but even if I wasn't, like, you could still respect me as a person.
yeah, you're
Jeez,
still the
like,
best
come
general in
on.
the army. Like,
Exactly. He's the reason you're winning this war right
yeah.
now.
Like
He's just like,
every single time in the Clone Wars when they're the 501st is fighting with Anakin, and then Anakin is either incapacitated or called somewhere else. They don't win right away. If Anakin was there, they would have
yeah.
won right away.
what I'm saying. I'm like, guy, like we gotta do. He's the best pilot. He's the best fighter. He's the best jet. Like, bro, I am trying. Like, and here's the thing with it is like the Jedi way. But I'm like, wouldn't the Jedi way not be spearheading a war in the first
Yes.
place?
Yes.
Like, if you're a peacekeeper, you're not starting. Like, I understand, like, ending a fight is the best one thing, but like, you are not, and you are picking a side
Hmm.
and fighting the other side. You are not just ending it for everybody. You are adding to the war. So I'm like, this whole Jedi, we are peacekeepers unless we want to be on this side. Like, like this whole thing makes no sense. They're like, we don't need to look at this from a military perspective. I'm like, then it's like you look at things from such a military mindset. I'm like, this is a war. How am I supposed to look at it? Like, what do you
And
want from
again,
me?
they
You
could
want
have
me to
delved more
not?
into that of how, like, they've had this one ideology for the past thousands of generations of Jedi, and all of a sudden that's completely rocked by them being, the main leading driving force of this war. But like,
Right.
that's just kind of brushed under the rug in the movies. Like they just kind of
Yeah.
accept it and move on.
Yeah.
Again,
And I
it's
think that's
something that's
so
delved more so in the Clone Wars, but even then, I feel they could have
right.
pushed it a little further.
Yeah, and that's what I like about the Clone Wars. Like when we talk to like just regular people, they're like, "Yeah, the Jedi are kind of stupid."
Yeah,
Like everyone kind of thinks like, yeah, like they don't know what they're talking. They're like, "Oh, we're for peace," but like also let's start this war. Like
your
or not
peacekeepers,
start the war.
yet your main weapon. Well, A, you have weapons, and B, your main weapon is a sword that can cut through anything. Sure.
Yeah, like and you're like and you're in a war and you're in a war. You are fighting like all over the entire galaxy, not just like one world. Like you're fighting a galaxy-wide world, basically World War whatever universe. Like
Hmm.
and literally like you can't be like, oh, we're neutral or we're peacekeepers,
Hmm.
except when we feel like fighting. Like it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It's like it's like monks all of a sudden deciding, you know what? Let's go. Like,
Yeah.
let's do what you do. It's like,
Like,
what are you doing?
like
Like,
my roommate and I recently watched the Umbara arc, which is my favorite arc of Clone
mm,
Wars, and just like watching the way Krell just does everything, like just makes so much sense in the context of the Jedi are idiots. Like it makes so much sense for someone with this much power and this much, pride to want to join Count Dooku's side and undermine them in every possible way.
mm,
That just makes so like hate him. He's my least favorite character, but that's what the point. But like,
like he's right.
you get it. You kind of get it though.
Yeah, because he's
It's like I
right.
am
Because
not. I
like,
am too. I'm not naive enough to be a Jedi anymore. It's like, yeah, I get it.
yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like that's kind of what Ahsoka kind of does too,
Hmm.
because she's kind of like, this is kind of dumb. Like just doing stuff. Like they're kind of living this way supposedly for no reason,
Hmm.
and like it's like I have to live this way, like not get married, can't do all these other stuff, and like for no reason other than just because that's how things are done. It's like
Yep.
that's a dumb reason. Like that's a dumb reason to do something, to live my life that way. Especially when we're hype, especially when things we can just decide don't matter anymore.
Yep.
With we're peacekeepers, except when I feel like fighting a war.
Yeah.
But but, uh, it's a whole thing.
Yeah. Like they're just. It was almost really good, so close to being really good. But like that. That's one reason. I know we'll do our our Star Wars tier list at some point, kind of more recently, but like maybe even next week. But that's a little teaser here. That's specifically why I personally feel like Rise of Skywalker is actually a worse movie than all of the prequels. I'm not even kidding. As a movie, it is a worse movie because it the prequels at least you can see it. You can see the potential those movies could have had it had better or a better director and generally better actors. No, not even better actors because the actors themselves are phenomenal, but like
they,
just
they did
the
the best work they had.
yeah, better writer and better director who both just so happen to be George Lucas. If he
What are you
just
trying
had
to say?
someone to check behind him, it would have been a phenomenal trilogy. But Rise of Skywalker, it just you see the movie, you watch it, you absorb it, and then you're like, there's no way that could have been saved. The potential wasn't even really there like with the story we got, you couldn't even like try to piece it back together in a way that would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Palpatine just makes no sense as a villain. Everything with Rey makes no sense and is complete violation of everything they've been building up to at this point. It just it's so bad.
And it's never explained.
Yeah.
Nothing is explained. It's just this is where we're going. How did we get here?
Yeah.
Because Star Wars. What?
Okay.
The Force. It's okay. The Force. Yeah. Okay, but that doesn't explain this. Oh, sorry. The dark side of the Force. That still doesn't explain anything. Like that doesn't. You can't just say, "Oh, because of the Force." I get the Force is its own thing, but you can't just say the Force that with no explanation of anything. Like that is just lazy writing.
Yes, exactly. Like at least the prequels, they are at least a competent enough telling of what could have happened in a prequel story to episode 4. They're not great at all. Episode 2 is just straight trash, but I love it. Episode 1 is trash, but I love it. Like at least you get the idea, like all of this theoretically could lead to the Empire Rising. Rise of Skywalker is not at all what anyone wanted after Last Jedi, or even Force Awakens for that matter.
I don't. Yeah, no, just I'm not. I don't know. I was just so like, I don't know, because it's like I didn't expect to be blown away by any means, but
I
like,
did going in because I thought they actually, I thought they were actually gonna build on what they already had and like introduce a new villain, sure, whatever. But like,
I mean, I don't know. I guess ever since the Palpatine thing, I was kind of like, this is not gonna be. Like, if he had been like an evil Force ghost, that would have been great.
But no, he was
like
a clone, apparently.
A clone, but okay. But of course, they never said that. You had to infer that by reading the novel. No one like, like out of the millions of people that saw that movie, no one really picked up or anything. Like, what I'm saying? Like,
it obviously he was a clone because you saw the Nook clones walking in. So obviously he clones himself. No, you can't make that stupid leap in logic. You can't do that.
No, there's no. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't just assume all these things and like, oh, it's obvious that like, I don't know, like it was a bad movie. I don't like it. That's the only Star Wars movie I've seen in theaters and actively not liked while watching it in theaters. Because even like prequel movies I remember watching in theaters, I actually liked them.
Because you were a kid and they were like more like geared towards you.
This is true. This is true.
Episode 3 is still, that's definitely not a kid's movie, and the incongruity there of the first 2 being super baby and that one being not. It was just very totally weird.
Wasn't that one PG-13? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was the only one I didn't see in theaters because I was like, I think I was like
11 or 12.
What year that came out? Yeah, I was probably like 10 or 11, and my mom was like, 2005. 2005, I was like 8. I think that math is right. Yeah, like 8 or 9. I can't.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Is that math right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, so there was no way my parents would let me go see a PG-13 movie because I mean I couldn't see a rated R movie until I was probably like 20, to be honest.
I couldn't see a PG. My mom didn't let me see a PG-13 movie until I was 15. Actually, I think about
it. Exactly. Because I remember growing up, my parents would let me stay home until I was 18, which was the worst thing ever. But there's a story about that, I'm sure. I don't know if I told you that story. I'll probably tell you later. But
after the podcast, we'll bring it back up.
Yeah. We'll circle back. But anyway.
Yeah, like walking. I'm sure I've said this before, but walking out of Rise of Skywalker, I was like, I think I liked it. It was definitely very weird. It didn't really live up to what I thought The Last Jedi was building to, but I think I liked it. No. I can't even watch it ironically. It's just the prequels, like when we do our Star Wars ranking, I'll probably do them based on quality. But if I were to do it based on enjoyment, the prequels would probably be like 3, 4, and 5. Like probably like just barely after episode 5. Like I love them that much.
Fair enough. Yeah, and we grew up with them, so that makes sense. Like,
but even then, like like these movies, they just bring this enjoyment to me that like I love them as a kid because of the flashy colors and flashy action and goofy characters. And then when
Yeah.
I was a
What?
teenager, I
Right.
hated them, but I liked hating them, and now I think they're just hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, yeah, it's just, yeah, but this new one, I can't. I like, they're, no,
No,
I don't really like, I don't know, because, like, even, like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, but I feel like Ben's art kind of, like, me, I'm kind of like, I feel like that was wasted, too. Like, I kind of just don't, like,
because
I like
that
the
that's
idea of the,
that's the
gun.
only ounce of potential this movie had, like that actually could have been something amazing, and it was the best part of that movie for sure. But out of everything in Rise of Skywalker, that's the only part I was like that they could have, that they should have nailed, and it would have been phenomenal. But if they, how it is, it's fine. But like they could have pushed it a little more and been even better. Everything else was just a waste of a movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if they had done something like that in the last one, like, I don't know, like, maybe if they, like,
But they kind of
built up.
did with Ben, being
Yeah,
kind of like quarreling with Hux and then cutting his master in half. Like that just, they were building up to it,
yeah,
but then he just kind
I
of
just,
started episode 9 just in the same place and then had to just kind of,
yeah,
he didn't even really have a
yeah,
change of heart until he was stabbed and Leia talked to him or something. I don't know.
or something. Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a whole. I don't know. It's a whole
I
thing.
woke
I
up this
just
morning
don't.
being legitimately upset. Like legitimately, I woke up this morning being upset about Rey having the same lightsaber she had in the previous two movies. Like it
Yes,
broke in episode 8. It is a tradition
yes.
for Star Wars movies to have a different lightsaber every movie, or at least from 2 to 3 have a different saber. And then she
It's
just
not even.
kept the same one. Why?
It's not even that. It's not even that she needs to get it. For me, the fact that it broke,
Yeah,
and then, oh, she obviously fixed it. When?
it would have
Like,
been so
at
cool for
least
her to take that
mention
staff
it.
she's had all 3 movies and like take the kyber crystal and the staff, kind of take it apart and like kind of make her own dual bladed saber. That was just, it was right there.
Or just explain that you fixed it. Like, just
Yeah.
be like, have it a little busted at the beginning and still trying to figure it out, and then later she fixed it. Or, like, just give me something. Like, you got, like, you can't just make, if I have to interpret how everything happened, then the movie
Mm-hmm.
is not doing the movie's job.
Literally, the only
Like,
reason she kept that saber was because they had already filmed a scene of Carrie Fisher holding that lightsaber they hadn't used yet. That's the only reason, even though they could have just CG'd it to be a different hilt, but whatever.
or just, or just not use, like, and not to, like, disrespect the character, but just use a different scene. Like, it's
Yeah.
not so hard. Like,
Or like they've almost every single scene with Leia was already like they already like made her look pretty much entirely different due to CG anyway, aside from her face. So just make
right?
that saber like Luke's green saber that she uses at some point. I don't know. Could have been.
Or yeah, like that would have been interesting. Or just like yeah, because it was there. Because I mean, if she had gone back to that planet, it still would have been there. She was
Yeah,
using it, right?
I guess. I mean, or unless the green saber blew up on the Death Star.
No, but didn't he have it in? He had it after that. Like
Right. Yeah, he had it in the
he
flashback. You're
was
right.
using it
In
on in
episode 8.
episode 8.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like unless it like faded away with him, which lightsabers don't do that, but like
They did in episode
unless
4.
that's a,
You're right.
yeah, so like I don't know, but I
Hmm.
have no idea.
Yeah, I don't
It's a
know.
whole thing.
Yeah.
There's many problems I have. That is only one of them.
Yeah, like
But
Ahsoka talking, as a Force ghost is not the biggest issue. The nice fan service
no,
moment, but it's not the biggest issue with that movie.
and honestly, at that moment, I didn't even notice. Like I just heard voices, and I didn't know who was who. I wasn't really trying to like. But I feel like that was kind of forced and not really
And
necessary
Force.
because, like, yeah, oh I just realized it. But I can't even make my point now. It doesn't matter. But I don't
It
know.
was
It's a little.
unnecessary.
Yes, it was. It was. I don't know, but It was weird. I kind of like the idea they were going for, but I feel like it wasn't earned by any means. So I feel like it was kind of eh. But life goes on.
Yeah. Oh well. Um. Okay. So, moving on to Nerd Clash. This week, we will be determining who would win between Optimus Prime and Ultron.
Ooh.
This is actually one that was like suggested on Twitter at some point a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I like that. So, yeah.
Prime and Ultron.
So let's assume because Optimus Prime, he can like open the Matrix and it like destroys his greatest foe, whatever. Let's just assume he can't do that at least for right now.
Well, that's not. Well, I mean, but that's kind of part of this thing, though. Like, like this is the whole one of the big things. Like, I know that's OPAF, but like that's kind of the thing. That's kind of the theme of this whole thing, though.
Well, I honestly feel like Ultron theoretically could like switch his AI into like some other robot and then like avoid it because why not?
Right. Yeah, because he can just
because even Unicron, even when he used it against Unicron, if I'm not mistaken, Unicron like his head was still, I guess. Well, Rodimus Prime used it at the time. Unicron's head was still orbiting Cybertron, and like his spirit was still inside the head. So it doesn't destroy everything; it just destroys the immediate body. So
okay, yeah. So yeah, Ultron would be fine.
I mean, it would at least destroy like all of the different suits he is currently inhabiting, but it might not destroy the essence of Ultron. So
right, well, that's the main thing. It's like a disease, but like, yeah. I mean, Ultron obviously made out of vibranium, stuff like that. But I feel like that's kind of like not super effective against Optimus Prime because like
Optimus Prime, his greatest defensive feat is there was a generator that was exploding. He went in there to try to fix it, but it exploded on him anyway. And in the comic panel, it zoomed out, and the mushroom cloud could be seen from space. Like, it was a huge explosion.
Jeez.
Almost the entire city was decimated. And he walked out like it was nothing.
Of course. Of course. So, basically can get nuked and be fine.
Yeah.
That's good.
But Ultron has in canon like overtaken entire planets. Like his AI like jumped to a different planet and like so he theoretically could have access to other metals that are even stronger than vibranium. Like Thanos's whatever that sword was that broke his shield.
Sword had no physics whatsoever.
So defensive wise, if he can make a suit out of the strongest metal in the universe, which he theoretically could have access to, it could be about even
many suits depending on how much material.
Yeah.
And do Transformers have any kind of weaknesses? Because I can't think of any, but like
getting punched really hard does it, but like really hard.
Really hard. Sometimes they break.
But really, that only works if they're really low on energon. Like in the Transformers, the movie in 1986, the only reason all the Autobots, spoilers, I guess, the only reason like the majority of the Autobots and like got destroyed in that movie was because Cybertron, or at least the amount of energon that the Autobots were able to feed on was severely lacking. So they were making a trip to Earth to get more, and that's why they all died. So if Ultron, well, now that would make sense because if in this situation, Optimus would go in with a full tank of energy, so it probably wouldn't.
Right.
Punching him wouldn't be as effective.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, probably not, because it's like it doesn't really like because and also I don't know how big Ultron like robots can get.
Oh, what is that like, big one?
Optimus...
There's a huge Ultron bot. Crap. There is one Ultron robot that is like the size of like a mountain.
Um,
Come on, Google. Uh, Ult- Ultimatron.
it's like
I know
giant
is used
Ultron,
in
giant man.
it's used in Ultimate Alliance 3, which I still need to beat.
Well, you've got time.
Ultimo. Yeah.
No.
Ultimo. It's the size
Good
of.
gracious.
Yeah, it's.
I'm looking at this right now.
Mm, yeah,
Oh man.
there.
Can he make multiples of those or just
I don't
one?
see why
Or is
not.
it
I don't see why
Yeah,
he
I guess
couldn't.
why. I
So
mean, if he had an army of those, I mean,
he
that's
had
kind
an
of
army.
hard.
The the only thing is there is one comic. I don't know if it's canon anymore, but we'll go with it. Where Optimus like scanned another robot that was a lot bigger than him and grew to its size. So he
Mm,
theoretically could do that, maybe.
that is
Because
kind of how they
the
work,
way
yeah.
the Transformers transform is just kind of it's never really pinned down how exactly it works. Like they copy and then they can like because theoretically the way it seems to work, especially in the movies, which are bad, but we'll go with it. Essentially, like the way they seem to work is if you scan, like let's say Bumblebee is like completely busted up, like like losing an arm, like he's just completely busted up. If he scans just another Camaro, he transforms into that Camaro, transforms back, he should be back to normal.
That makes no
I
sense.
know, but that seems to be
Interesting.
how it can work. At least how it could work in
Interesting.
theory.
Yeah, but I mean, with that ability though, he could pretty much, if it works that way, he could pretty almost basically regenerate.
Yeah, although Ultron is known for like hacking into other robots and like taking them over.
This is true.
So
That's what I was kind of thinking in the beginning.
the
But
so
isn't that?
there
I mean, good. Sorry.
there is one story in Transformers TV show where there's like this virus thing creeping across the entire universe that's like infecting every single Transformer, both Autobot and Decepticon, and turning them like just the worst evil. And Optimus finds some kind of metal to like coat himself in, and it won't affect him. I don't know if that would work on Ultron's AI, but at least there is evidence
Some
that there
kind of
could be something he could do to block some kind of. But no, sorry, that virus actually it's if it touches you, so it's not really like a. Well, yeah, that wouldn't really be
nah, it wouldn't
the
work
same.
then.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's what I was kind of thinking. Yeah, like theoretically, Ultron could just kind of hack Optimus Prime, and so to speak, kind
I
of. Which
guess.
I know, like I think it's a little different because like I guess they were more alive
Yeah.
than like the average robot, but still, I think the similar principles would still apply
Yeah,
theoretically.
like
I
they
don't know.
definitely are robots, but Transformers are like an entire race of beings, so they're
Yeah,
more than just robots. It might be a little,
human
maybe
robot, not
stretching it a little
human,
bit.
but
I don't know.
living robots, I guess.
Yeah. If Ultron could hack into him, then Optimus would probably lose,
Yeah.
assuming he didn't then like in his last act like give the Matrix to someone else and then they used it to destroy him.
That wouldn't still be it.
Yeah,
That would be
that'd be a tie.
everyone
Yeah,
versus Ultron. Yeah,
yeah,
and even then, if Ultron was in more than just Optimus Prime, then he would
yeah.
still survive that.
Hmm.
But no, I see where your idea is at
If
though.
Optimus could get hacked, Ultron wins. If not, I just don't know if Ultron has the firepower to kill him.
Probably not,
Because like
because like
he's been crushed by huge robots before and been fine.
yeah,
Are we taking into account potential combinations he can have with like his trailer and Starfire. No, sorry,
Hmm. Yeah.
Wing Saber and Jetfire and whatnot.
Yeah. No, yeah, everything. Well, wait, does it? Well, that's other Transformers. But
They are part of his arsenal.
yeah, but that's kind. I feel like that's
Yeah.
kind of cheating. Like
Okay, so
you can't. It's not,
we'll just say
like it's
like
not like
hit.
you can't just go Voltron and like combine
Okay,
together. Like
okay,
that's
fair
kind
enough.
of OP.
Okay, so we'll do Power Master Optimus Prime, which he combines with his trailer. That's the limit.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I because I don't know. Optimus Prime has like legit ridiculous amount of ability, like
Really does.
sheer power and also durability. But I
Mm,
think Ultron's ability to just kind of sustain anything due to like there being
so
so
many of
many
him.
Ultrons. Yeah, but
Yeah.
but if you blow up a planet and Ultron's on the planet, I mean Ultron's kind of screwed.
Mm.
I'm
I don't
pretty
want to
sure
just give it to
Transformers can
Optimus
do
out of bias, but like in a full on like I said, Optimus has taken on stuff like Tripticon, who's this big like dinosaur looking thing, is as big as Ultimo usually is. So like
Gosh,
he can at least hold his own against him.
proud. Honestly, I think Optimus Prime would be okay.
Yeah. Assuming Ultron could not hack him,
Right. If you ask him,
Optimus
that's
wins.
kind of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Cool. Even then it might be some kind of like weird all spark thing where like
Oh gosh.
it could be like he hacks him and then his spark that gets restored into the all spark and then can be transferred into some Transformers is weird. There's a lot. There's like
Yeah,
40ish years of
like
canon. Like it's just there's a lot.
like that's a little much.
I
But yeah, it's like, but this is comics. That's what we do.
know. Yeah.
We go the extra mile.
So, is there anything else that you want to bring up or discuss?
That's about it. I can't think of anything at this time.
Okay. And with that, we'll see you all next time.
Take care, guys.
Okay, real quick. So we literally just finished that recording of the podcast. Get on Twitter and see that every single Disney movie for the next like while has been pushed back, which makes sense. But I wish that had been announced like an hour ago. But whatever. Okay,
No, it
so
always happens like that.
earlier we were talking about Black Widow. They officially have a new release date for November 6th of this year.
Hmm.
Which that date might sound familiar because that was originally the Eternals release date, which has now been pushed to February 12th of 2021.
Hmm.
Which I was kind of getting the feeling that was going to be the case because the original trailer, the first trailer of the Eternals was going to air with Black Widow. And since that had been pushed back, I was kind of afraid that they weren't going to be able to really complete their marketing campaign for the Eternals before it came out. So that also being pushed, back
Makes sense.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking with Marvel, Shang-Chi, which I think had that February 12th date, has been pushed to May 7th, which generally that May slot has been reserved for like essentially the second biggest name Marvel character of that year. Like either like Captain America, I think Guardians had May, like May is usually like the biggest, because usually the November title generally isn't even as big of a deal as outside of like maybe Thor, but even then those two names are like honestly kind of equal now after
Right.
so that's just it's going to be interesting seeing if Shang-Chi will how it'll utilize that May spot. Um, but the original movie is going to come out May 7th. Doctor Strange has been pushed to November 5th.
That's
Which
an oof.
that's a noof. Like I was excited kind of for Eternals and Shang-Chi, more so for Shang-Chi. But like those movies, them existing, I didn't really care about. but like it's just kind of cool to have them, I guess.
Yeah.
But Doctor Strange too.
Because I'm not familiar.
Yeah, I know of
Yeah.
Shang-Chi, I know of the Eternals, but I don't know much at all about them other than Thanos being an
Mm-hmm.
Eternal, I think. Maybe.
Right. Yeah. So I guess that would kind of make sense coming together with that, but
Yeah.
also I don't know what's going on, and I don't know. It's one of the things that until I see at least somewhat of it, I'm not
Hmm.
really sure what to
Yeah.
think of it.
I assume the Eternals will somehow tie in with Nick Fury being in space now. I assume.
True.
At least like after
Very
credit scene,
true.
he'll show up and be like, "You ever
Yeah.
heard about the Avengers Initiative?" To whoever
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie is playing or whatever.
Gives them a pamphlet.
Mm.
Like,
Uh,
Avengers Initiative.
yeah, Shang-Chi looks like it's gonna be really good because the Mandarin is finally like really being in these movies. Which I don't love that villain, but like for the people who were upset at Iron Man 3 for him being ruined, them actually having the real Mandarin, I think is kind of cool.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah,
Doctor
kind of
Strange
redeeming
2
that.
being delayed half a year is an oof, definitely.
Bit of a hit. Yeah. Yeah, and even though it was scheduled for next year, so it was going to be a while anyway, but now just
Mm,
knowing that extra time is just kind of,
yeah.
oh,
And
okay.
maybe this will actually be good for the movie since they were originally, Scott Dickerson, whatever, Scott D, left the project, and Sam Raimi, I don't know if it's actually been confirmed if he's working on it. Is at least heavily rumored that Sam Raimi is going to be working on it. It'll give him more time to rewrite the script and make it his own movie, which I
Mhm.
was a little afraid of. They were going to start filming this summer, so him only having like a month to like really make it his own might be a little iffy. But
Yeah, it
having
wouldn't
giving
have
that extra
worked.
6 months, I think it will really make it really
Yeah, and
shine.
honestly, yeah, yeah, that's what I liked. I like that they get to stop, give it the time, not force it on the screen, and then just get a choppy mess.
Yeah.
I'd rather take their time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Doctor Strange is on May 5th, 2021, and Thor, which was originally Thor 4's date, which is now been pushed back to
Mhm.
February 28th, 2022, which is an even bigger oof.
Right. Yeah, that sucks too. And like I think as time goes on, honestly, I might honestly forget they were pushed back by the time they actually come
Yeah,
out. But like,
still,
it's just now knowing.
yeah. But I want Thor 4 right now. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, it's gonna be really good. Okay, we can get a little longer. We can do it.
Yeah. Uh, and I
Looking
think
forward.
Captain Marvel 2 might have had that February 28th date. I think it was just like a 2022 movie. I don't think it actually had
Yeah,
a date, but that's now July 7th.
yeah. And then Black Panther 2 also is moved to May of
I
2022,
think that's always
which
been May. I think that's always been a May title.
has it
So
really?
that's,
Okay, so that didn't get moved.
yeah.
Okay.
So they've at least had a little bit of wiggle room. I think originally there wasn't going to be a movie uh, between Thor. Actually, yeah, there still isn't a movie between Thor and Black Panther anyway. Thor was going to be November, and then
Hmm.
Black Panther in May. So they just moved Thor to February and then kept the rest of it
Got
the
it.
same. Because I think Black Panther 2 technically starts phase 5, technically.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Or close to it. I'm not totally sure
If the
how that.
phases even
I
matter
mean,
at this point.
yeah, honestly, yeah. I mean, honestly, I like the phases. I'm kind of just like,
Especially since Ant
keep
Man
it going.
bucketed phase 1, I'm like, no, or sorry, phase 2. I didn't like that.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like yeah, the phases are kind of like that. I feel like they're more like guidelines, but not really like
Yeah.
essential. You know?
Although there is one Marvel movie that was not mentioned in this: New Mutants. The very
I
cursory
mean,
Google search, I didn't see them delaying it to a
it's
specific
true.
date.
See, I feel like New Mutants is that project that isn't finished,
Mhm.
but school got canceled, so they're kind of just Or you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, all right, they came out scot-free, so they don't have to admit that I didn't finish the work, I didn't do the work, but at the same time, it's still not gonna,
Hmm.
and like honestly, I don't know, like I don't. Again, I can't speak for everyone, but I feel like a lot of people aren't big for this movie. They've been talking
Yeah.
about this for years, but at the same time, like, is it really,
I
you
feel like
know?
it's a nice change of pace from the other X-Men movies we've been getting, especially since Dark Phoenix was just the worst. It
Hmm.
at least was like its own thing, and like since it was not connected to this universe, it just kind of had its own era of intrigue that the other movies just haven't had. Which
Yeah,
you
but
know, it's definitely going to be weird if it doesn't come out this year. I don't know if it ever would because, or at least as a theatrical release, because they're gonna put the X Men in the MCU pretty soon,
mhm.
probably, right?
Probably within like 2 years or so. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe three, but
because right
mm,
now the last movie we know of is Captain Marvel in July of 2022, so that November slot is wide open, maybe for
yeah.
X Men or Fantastic Four or something, or
Ooh,
Blade. I guess Blade could also
ooh,
be
or
then.
Blade, or Blade.
Yeah,
Yeah, or Blade.
since
Yeah,
we know that's Phase 5.
right. Which that's what I'm thinking. They're probably gonna wait till Phase 5 to add the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But still, if the New Mutants doesn't get up here soon enough, which at this point I'm
Just
like,
release it on D Plus or Hulu. Just do
yeah,
it.
I feel see like that seems like a Disney Plus kind of move. But then again, they might not be done with it.
It's supposed to come
So
out today.
I mean, yeah, supposedly, but I mean,
Already been delayed 50
come
times,
on.
so
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like again, like it feels one of those things where, yeah, we got time off, but really, I think they needed it more than they
mm.
think they did. I don't know,
It
but
is kind of interesting seeing Black Widow get delayed that far when it was originally coming out before Wonder Woman, but now it's getting delayed to well
mhm.
after Wonder Woman because that's in August.
Yeah. Do you think that's more just to like add separation?
I think I feel like I think it's not a case of we need to separate it from other superhero movies. I think it's like we I think it's honestly a case to separate it from their own Marvel movie because if
Mm.
they released it in July, like I said, marketing wise, that might not give them enough time to really do Eternals right. So they probably made the hard decision. We need to delay Eternals, and I guess they just thought, okay, well, it makes sense to put Black Widow here.
Yeah, I guess so. And I guess that's one of the things with when your movies all connect. Like if you delay one, you kind of have to push back everything,
Yeah.
which again doesn't hurt because they're still going to be successful if they're done well. But at the same time, it's like just kind of annoying, I guess. But
Mm.
I feel like they could have. I personally feel that waiting all the way till November is kind of a lot, personally.
Yeah.
But then again, November isn't. I don't think November is like super busy, so maybe that's the idea.
Um, I can't think of a major Disney movie coming out then. Um, there's no DC movie coming out, as far as I know.
Mhm.
No big Sony movie because they all got pushed out of this year. Yeah, I honestly don't know what else is really coming out this year.
Yeah, which means again, and see, and if it has the Venom effect or the Aquaman effect, I
Yeah.
mean, this movie could make well over $1 billion,
Hmm.
which
Yeah,
that
it
would
could
be
be a
that would be
situation
awesome.
of people who necessarily wouldn't have seen it in May, since now they've known they couldn't get it for so long in November. Now they're like, well, I have to see it now. The fact that you
Right.
can't get something makes you want it even more. Hopefully, it might have that effect.
Sounds familiar about going outside,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah. Honestly, yeah, yeah. It's like, oh, now I don't want it, but now I need it, so no, I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna watch it. But It's
And
good, but no, I think it's definitely gonna be successful.
yeah, there were a couple other Disney movies that were also delayed. Again, this is just the case. This is just what happens when Disney owns everything. Mulan was supposed to come out last week, is now coming out July 24th,
Okay.
which hopefully China has like is like completely, you know, out of lockdown because that was the major market they were going for with this movie.
Right.
Um,
Which, yeah, obviously.
uh, The Rock's Jungle Cruise, which I don't
Oh,
get
yeah.
this movie because I feel like Nathan Fillion, like that role was made for him. Like it's essentially, sorry, not Nathan, Brendan Fraser. It's essentially they look the same to me. It's essentially The Rock playing Brendan Fraser's character from The Mummy in this movie. It just feels like that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
and like of all the Disneyland rides to make a movie out of, Jungle Cruise doesn't is definitely not my first pick.
No. Honestly, like this is gonna sound like ever since that summer where like Rampage and like
Skyscraper
the
and
first Jumanji,
Jumanji, yeah.
Skyscraper, like I feel like The Rock like recorded did like four movies all in the same
He's
like
wearing the same
area.
outfit.
Honestly, yeah, like the same two outfits, all the same kind of, and also honestly, they were like, okay, what can we put together with The Rock in a movie that's something to do with the jungle? It's like I think there's a ride in jungle. That's perfect. Let's get that.
Jungle Cruise, yeah.
Let's put that together. Yeah, let's get a cast. Let's do that. Like
Uh,
honestly, because
yeah.
really the Rock like the last like outside of Hobbs and Shaw, the last like four Dwayne Johnson movies have
Mm,
all kind of been the same.
yeah.
So it's like it's so weird, like all these like jungle expedition movies kind of out of nowhere, and it's just like I feel it feels very copy paste, but it's supposed to trying to be subtle, but it's not.
No.
No, it's I don't know. So I feel like that's kind of just why they were like, well, Dwayne Johnson's still in the jungle right now. Why don't we just? I don't know. It's so weird.
We don't even have to pay for the design because he's already, or pay for the costume because he's already wearing it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, but yeah, that'll be interesting. But yeah, this movie, watching the trailers, this movie did not particularly like wow me in any way. It
Yeah,
was kind
something that
of just
just
like,
didn't
all
feel
right,
right. I don't know.
right, like it just, I don't know. It doesn't look interesting, but you never know. It could be one of those that like you think it's boring, and then you watch like, oh, it's actually pretty good, but I won't find out until it's already out of theaters, so it won't matter.
And the last movie that's at least on this list that I found, which I didn't even really know was a Disney movie, but I guess it makes sense, since they own everything. Free Guy, which was that Ryan Reynolds video game movie thing. It was supposed to come out this
Oh,
month, I think.
yeah.
Got
I
pushed
forgot
back to
about
December
that.
11th.
Oof. Okay.
Which
That looked interesting.
yeah, interesting. Like it definitely had like a kind of Deadpool esque vibe to the trailers, where it was like from the
Mhm.
people that brought you Deadpool and Frozen and all these other things. It's like it was like a sizzle reel of like every single other like Fox or Disney property. It's like people brought you these movies.
Watching pretty much every movie you've seen the
Yeah.
last year.
And like the idea of an AI character in like an NPC character in a video game, like realizing he's in a game and freaking out and like being a part of this, like that's actually kind of interesting. I don't know if it'd actually be good.
Right?
It could be done very well. I just don't think this will be it. But
Yes.
like it'll at least be funny because Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. I'm kind of getting like almost a Lego movie vibe, but with real
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
right?
exactly. That's
Yeah.
literally verbatim what this is. Like, someone who's just part of the system realizes, oh, I'm part of the system, and then goes on an adventure. Like, and then he also meets like a woman character who like he probably falls in love with, and she's like, I've known this whole time. Like
Mhm.
it really is like a movie now that you put it like that.
Yeah, which again isn't necessarily a
Like
bad
the
thing.
movie is
'Cause that
great.
movie's
Yeah.
really good, and Ryan Reynolds is an excellent character. He's going to be a good lead. So like, this has serious potential. But
Mhm.
again, we will see.
Yeah, and this definitely has the advent of not necessarily being a video game movie, but a movie based on the idea of video games, so it can't mess up the
Hmm.
source material. It's just as long as
Right.
it gets the idea of like an MMO, maybe not an MMO, but like an action shooter world.
Yeah.
It,
Any
like yeah,
violent
like
video
GTA,
game.
like it's essentially it's set in GTA, like
Yeah.
because you get that idea right and not like mix too many
Yeah.
different. My problem with most movies that like make up a game, they like shove way too many different elements from different games together. Like Ready Player One, it's like it's
Hmm.
just too much. It's a shooter and a
Everything.
racer and a weird action platformer and an RPG. Like it's too much. If they could just do GTA but not actually call it GTA, you're good.
Yeah. Just make it pick one, maybe two ideas, stick with them, make it all, and then you can make all the jokes about that, all the stuff like that, and it'll be good.
Mhm. Yeah. Um. Yeah. That was one movie that like I had kind of forgotten about, but every time I saw trailers for it, I was like, I might see that. So now if
Hmm.
December is wide open, which it seems like it might be,
Yeah.
I'd see it. Yeah.
No Star Wars or anything. Yeah, it should be wide open.
Mm-hmm. It is kind of interesting that
Hmm.
Mulan and Jungle Cruise are releasing a week apart. Jungle Cruise was July 30th, Mulan was 24th.
See, I have a feeling they kind of know Jungle Cruise is gonna kind of,
They really
because
see it
like if
just
you
to
ask,
release it.
okay, you're gonna go, yeah, like yeah, it's like hey, you gotta see Mulan or Jungle Cruise. Like I'm not even big on Mulan, but like I'm
Yeah.
not like
That's
like
actually my
I feel like
third or fourth favorite animated Disney movie. But trailers
yeah,
don't make
but
it
I
look.
feel like
Yeah.
no, I mean, there's no Mushu first of all, so like that's not fun. And then like, it looks very serious, which isn't how I want a Mulan movie to go
I
personally.
mean that it's closer to
So,
the original Chinese story.
right, right, which is fine. That's just not the story I know. Like
Yeah.
I know the one, Eddie Murphy and
Mm.
the little lightning bug thing or whatever.
Which I mean,
And
considering how the Lion King and Jungle Book and Dumbo and
mm,
like all these other different that
and Beauty
basically
and the
try,
Beast.
yeah, Aladdin, like all the other
Oh
different
yeah.
animated or live action Disney movies that are basically word for word remakes of the original. I'm okay with this one going a different direction. This is kind of what I
Yes.
want, honestly.
We'll see. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, yeah, we'll see. I think it's an interesting idea, but again,
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to see it. I probably won't see it in. Well, no, I probably won't see it in theaters. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Were there any big ones that I missed that you know of? I got delayed
Not that I know. I think those were the main ones. But let me wonder if I can scour anything else up.
because it is kind of weird that I didn't see anything about New Mutants
Yeah,
or
I feel
Soul
like
or
that.
like any other like that one Pixar movie coming out this year.
Oh yeah. See, I feel like that. I feel like the animated stuff might be fine, but I don't know. Yeah, no, we already talked about Morbius and everything. I guess Sony's gone.
Mm.
Um, James Bond, I think got moved back
Yeah, that got
again.
moved like a whole year, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm.
Yeah. Oof. Dang.
Fast Nine got moved.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was honestly
That's a
okay.
man.
Like, have you seen the trailer for the new Fast and the
It's
Furious?
so ridiculous. Like
He's
I
like,
thought
oh,
skydiving cars was crazy. This guy literally like shoots like not even he like drives on a bridge and like gets the bridge like hooked on his wheel and like like swings off a cliff and lands just fine.
I
Like
don't.
what is
I
this?
don't know. I don't know. That movie. It's like, oh yeah, John Cena's been your brother this whole time. I'm like, really?
No,
The guy
they're not the
obsessed with
same. No.
like not even like you know, I'm like, oh, this guy's obsessed with his family. Didn't even know he had a brother like for after 9 movies. Like, come on,
Mhm.
man. And they're just throwing big muscular people at the screen at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, like, come on, like, and I get they're actors, but like, you already got The Rock, you got Vin Diesel. Now it's like, oh, who else is huge? And sometimes in a movie, John Cena, go, go.
Yeah.
Like, like who's like at this point, like that. I don't know. It's just bro the movie at this point. Like I don't even know. But
Which is cool, but
honestly,
like, especially since this franchise started, it was just drag racing. That's all it was.
right? This is not about drag race. At this point, this is about What can I do?
Basically superheroes.
Yes! And then, like, occasionally they drive stuff. Like, there's no driving anymore. And then somehow they brought back Han or whatever, which I don't think that's going to be explained well at all.
No, not at all.
Oh, well. No.
It's just Palpatine, but, you know.
I mean, yeah. They'll actually say it in the movie. But I mean that the bar is not high.
Yeah.
The bar is literally mentioning it at all. That is the bar. Don't just ignore the flawless logic that doesn't make. Oh, man.
It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, like you said, probably by the time we get to like Doctor Strange and Thor, we'll probably just kind of forget that they even got delayed.
I probably will. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, look. Yeah, and for the right reasons, like not just not reshoots, it's literally, hey guys, the world's on fire, so we're gonna put these movies back a few months.
This is not the most important thing right now.
Yeah, and I think that's good because like if people start realizing everything, you would think after like events and sports and everything gets canned, people would be like, hey, maybe this is a big deal. Maybe now that we put movies on hold too, they're like, oh. Guess this is kind of serious.
Yeah,
because our movie theaters like closed.
Most movie theaters are closed. Yeah, and there was a poll recently that probably informed this November 6th release date. A poll recently came out that said, like 28. It was like either 28 or 38% of people polled that they said that they do not feel safe. They would not feel safe going to a movie theater even after this is all over. So even if they were originally planning on releasing it in like July, they might have seen that poll and been like, okay, we need to distance ourselves from this as much as possible.
Yeah, and give it. And I think that's smart because like by November it'll have some time for this to blow over more than likely.
Yeah.
So like,
assuming everyone keeps doing what they're doing right now, it'll at least be greatly mitigated.
Yeah, exactly. And by then, I think people are definitely going to be back into, the normal movie-going pleasures and stuff like that. So that's good. Yeah. But
like, not only were they looking out for other people, they were also looking out for the bottom line because they feel this movie needs to make $1 billion. It has to.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, like it should, especially the way it's looking now with. Not a lot of traffic when it's coming out and stuff like that. It's gonna be there for it. If it doesn't, honestly, that's on the movie. If it doesn't, like that's kind of what it comes down to.
Yeah, because like the Joker made $1 billion, right. Aquaman made $1 billion, Venom made $880 million. Like this movie can make $1 billion.
Yeah, I still can't believe Aquaman made $1 billion.
Yeah, that is the highest grossing DC movie. That movie made more than Dark Knight. Come on.
No. Like that is wrong.
It's just wrong.
No, that's somebody messed up. That's not correct. I think that's just the power of
good timing, I guess.
Yeah.
One would be your Spider-Verse's way, but whatever, it's fine.
Everything's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I think that's everything being pushed back, but. Still,
that's what it is. Again, you said things push back for the right reason, so I'm not even mad.
Right, it's not just like we're it's the right reason, and honestly, that's the right move because I mean, what are you gonna do? Have no one see your movie? Like,
no, not Disney. They're not gonna do that.
No, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't like. Because you need, and these are good movies. You don't want to waste the opportunity just because it's a global pandemic going on. Let's just move it back and but I don't understand. Oh gosh, social distancing. Got to keep it going. But
that's like, assuming nothing else gets announced, the next right after this is over. Is there anything else you want to mention before we sign off for real this time?
For real this time. I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think we're good. But man, I don't know. Like, give it 45 minutes. It's like, what? Something else? Like,
no, we'll wait till next time. It's fine.
High Republic? What? Like, breaking news.
Better not really
New
announce
X-Men
like
series. What?
now. You're really honest that
Already?
now? Why?
It's like season 1 already streaming on Disney Plus. What? Like, how did this happen? Where was I? You like go to the bathroom, come back. Yeah, what? Like, the internet's amazing.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, see you later.
Take care, guys.